Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's February 4th and we're planting early. I'm out here in the greenhouse and getting a lot of chaos from the new puppy. It thinks like it might need to dig everywhere I start pulling weeds, but we've cleared this bed in the greenhouse. We're working on doing the weeding. Plenty of stuff is still green out here. Now this house isn't heated. I always want to mention that. But anyway, what we're doing today is planting some green beans. Now it's really early. It's February 4th. Normally we wouldn't do this till sometime middle of March, but everything is looking good. We do have a few days that's coming up in the 45-day forecast where they're going to be, we might get as low as 35, but this will do fine out here with the sides rolled down. It won't have that wind on it, and it'll keep a little better ground heat. It does get cold in here, just as cold as it does outside, maybe a couple of degrees warmer, but that's up about 6 foot in the air where my thermometer is. But I'm always willing to sacrifice a few seeds, take a chance. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but don't get to where you start thinking that seed planting guide is what you have to go by like it's the Bible, because it's an average, and sometimes we have really abnormal warm springs. Now I'm down in the south, and in your area might be different. I know in the southeast they're gonna have quite a bit colder weather than us. We do show that there's going to be some pretty cold weather coming down, but we'll just have to see. But what I'm going to do is get these green beans planted first, and then we're going to move on to some more seeds. And we're sitting here in the workshop. I've been busy planting some more seeds, getting my cell trays ready. I've still got a few left. These are actually saved seeds from last year, a couple years before, I think. But these are a bunch of different kinds of sunflowers. We've got a bunch of echinacea seeds we saved. We're going to do those. We're still working on, and I'm doing a whole lot of stuff early. Like I say, I'd rather sacrifice a few seeds and come up with that earlier crop. Right now these are some saved okra seeds. I have some that aren't saved, but I figured I want to try these. If they don't germinate good, I don't want to be in the middle of a warm season. Now, okra won't do very well starting it early because it likes a lot of high temperatures, but I'm still going to do it. We'll see how the temperatures go, but okra thrives when it gets hot. So as long as it gets enough moisture to survive. If it's a drought, a lot of times people will lose them. But anyway, I've got them. I've started some more watermelons. My all sweets that I started before didn't germinate good. They're still there waiting, but they haven't come up. And so what I've done is, and they tend to be a little bit slower to germinate last year. So what I've done is I've taken my little tub here with my paper towel, wet paper towel, and I'm going to try to germinate them there. And then as they pop up, I'll plant them. But some of these aren't cold weather or aren't warm weather plants. We've got some cilantro just now popping up. I'll need to water it again. Cilantro takes a lot of moisture to pop that seed open and get it going. But they're starting to germinate. Down here, I've got to look and see what I put in here. I've got some cantaloupes and what I'd call honeydew, Israel cantaloupe, but it's a green melon. And then I've got multiple different kinds of squash. I've got some zucchinis and some some prolific straight yellow squash. I've got a couple of varieties of cucumbers. I'm going to try. Mainly, I'm going to put some in the greenhouse, just not trellis them like I did last year. I'm just going to leave them on the ground. That way, if we do get too cold of weather, they'll be able to. I'll just throw ground cover over them, and they should survive fine. And then over here, we've got some Mitchell Healy, some early Jersey cabbage, and some more gypsy broccoli. And they're cold weather plants, so they'll be fine. Out in the workshop, we've got all kinds of stuff going on in the way. We've got a cargo trailer in here. We've been redoing some wood, have to rebuild the outside door and stuff for a leak, reseal the top. That's all those things go on with everything else. Now, what I want to say here, these were my papayas, and out of 40 plants, I didn't have a one that survived, so I'll be dumping this out. Now, our tomatoes, these are our early tomatoes. As you can see, they're looking good. I've got them under the grow lights here. This is my Cherokee purple, and then I've got some two other varieties over here, a few cherries, maybe 4 varieties over there. But anyway, those are doing good. Now, this is my new, I'm going to say, squash for this year. This is a Milletone. It's a Louisiana, I'm going to say squash for not lack of a better term. Now, they grow different, and we'll talk about those probably when we go to put them out, but I'll have to chop on these again because I'm not ready to put them out. I'll wait until all my freeze possibilities over. And we'll look at our onions. Our onions are looking real good. Now, we could take and clip the tops on these and let them grow up, or we can leave them like that. There's no big thing. No certain way that you've got to do it. They'll do fine this way, or you could cut the top and do them up. My little lettuces, my 3 varieties here. This one's not germinating quite as quick, but this is a lot of lettuce for once these start growing, so we ain't going to have a problem with that. And here's our watermelons. It does look like it's time to water again, but my all sweet, they just aren't germinating good. These will survive probably a week or 2 more in the tray. We'll just let them go. Now, our peppers, we do have 4 varieties that we were planting. Now, I'm trying to germinate again my save seeds from my emerald, which is my preferred one, but I didn't have any seeds, but I did have some plants out there that had peppers on them. They'd turn red, but they did get frozen. So if they had too much water, it may be possibly you could have damaged the seeds. We'll just have to see. But they're doing good. And like I say, peppers grow so much slower. That's why I talk about taking and making sure you plant them early. Now let's go look at some other stuff here. And here's the one garden plot that we're actually getting it ready to plant. And I know it's hard to hear over my noisy geese, but there wasn't a whole lot of grass in here. But I had ryegrass that I had planted late, and it was coming up. And instead of just tilling this under, I decided to go ahead and move the chickens over here. I had also put some winter rape in here, and I had little patches of it. But I figured that between the geese and the chickens, they would get a lot of the greenery that was there, get some of the seeds that was there, maybe cut down on that. And we'll have them over here for until about the middle of this month, around the 14th or 15th, and we'll move them off and till this and get our potatoes in. And won't be long, we'll be planting our field corn too. And I guess I'll expand this video some as far as being we're out here, we ain't did a garden tour. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on. Now, this right here, I decided I wasn't going to plant or propagate any fig trees this year, except to add some to the fig orchard, because I had a lot of die-outs and there were certain varieties that produced better here. So I figured I'd do that. But I went ahead with all the cuttings that I cut off my fig tree and just stuck them here in the garden. And we'll take and we'll let these go, see how they do, uh, see how they root in, and you can keep updated on our garden updates on this. And I had to stop for a minute. We give them some water, keep this soil moist because it does dry out. But anyway, you can see the cold temperatures got us hard. As always, our red cabbage seemed to do better. These were outside, but there are a lot that's going to have to be cut out. There's a few. We'll take these freeze burnt leaves off and go from there. But as far as the cilantro, the dill, all that, it got whooped up on good. We'll go on down here and talk about what we're going to do. This is actually February 5th now. And once I laid in that recliner, that was the end of the day for me. But this was our early peas. Now, I don't know how some of you are, but green peas are one of my wife's favorite things. And what we're going to do, we're going to plant right in here again. And we're just going to clean these out, clean up the row, and reseed this with peas. They'll do fine. If a freeze comes, they do good down to about maybe 26, but 28 they survive pretty good. The temperature they might say is different, and I'm going to say it probably depends on how much wind. But I won't have no problem once these come up about them growing. Now, we do have to get some weeding done in our onions here. They did fare pretty well. It looked like it was going to mess them up, but they fared pretty well. But you can see we've got some weeding to do. And don't let that intimidate you. We're going to have to clean up our garlic here. It did get a little bit of burn from the freeze. I know I did show 12 degrees one day, so expect that's pretty hard on it. Now, normally, alliums, they say about 10 degrees will kill them. Now, I know depends on what the winds are. But anyway, those are all doing fine. Our chives here, we cleaned this bed up, cut all our chives off, and they're starting to green up and come back. Won't be long, they'll be doing good. Our oregano's looking pretty rough, but we'll get this cleaned up too. I've been thinking about getting some of these and potting them up. And our other rows over here, which we harvested our ginger, which hopefully I'll put that video up first. And we harvested our turmeric, so we got to clean this row up, get it ready for something else. Now, we're doing a little bit different because we are really bad on weeds this year. We've covered up part of these rows so that hopefully the black plastic in these warmer days, it's mid-70s today, which is good, and it's supposed to be that way during the week. Hopefully this will get some heat, get them the ones to germinate, and blacken out the sun and kill the rest. It does seem to be working some. These peas here, they're gone. What we're going to do with this row is we'll use it for our first row of cucumbers. So that'll be there. But all these rows need to be cleaned up. I've got a dog that's not trained, as you can see, and I have to steadily get on to her, keep her out of bed. But that's what happens when you have a puppy. But anyway, this cilantro's still hanging in there. It's not really the greatest in some of it, but it's hanging in there. These carrots, and they have an awful lot of weeds, and I don't know that we'll leave these because they got froze pretty hard, and normally that stunts them and they're not going to grow much. The cilantro over here, which is kind of odd, this one was planted later than this one over here, but this one's always done better, and it could just be the bed. Now this bed here, it's going to be hard and try to weed it. It's got, as you can see, it's got chamomile coming back. We've got it coming back pretty good there, and we've got some coming back on this end. Our echinacea, it isn't really popping up yet, so we'll see how that does. Our asparagus bed, we went ahead and weeded it. We put some fertilizer on it, so it's ready for this year. We cleaned out the thyme bed. Maybe work on getting some of these thyme to root in and put some more back in here. In the little greenhouse, there is only one rough looking blues cabbage. We'll use this for a salad. It makes real good lettuce substitute. So we'll use that, but we've got to get in here and weed this out. We'll go in the big greenhouse. But as you can see, every one of our beds are nice and weedy. It's going to take just a little bit to get those back into shape. Now, the little bit of protection this greenhouse offers is, of course, it won't keep bandit from tugging on the leaves, but it offers wind protection is the main thing. Now, I did a little different this year. When I buckled it up, I did actually tape the vents closed on the exhaust fans, because when the wind shifts, it would ventilate the warmest air that was up there out, so that may have helped it. No sign of life from these bananas. Hopefully they'll come back, but it's just hard to say. Now, for those of you that raise broccoli and you cut the heads out, and I say wait for the side shoots, because the side shoots are really fantastic, and they'll put on a lot of growth for you. And our beans that we planted yesterday, if they can survive the dog running through. And I tried closing the gate, but it works its way through the fence just above the chicken wire, so it gets in. But our parsley's doing good. Our dinosaur kale's doing good. We've just about harvested all of our leek. We've got just a few here, and we're harvesting sprouts off of our broccoli. Now, I'm going to say, sometimes you'll get a shoot that grows fast, and you can see this is going to bloom, but this still is nice and tasty like that. So don't worry if it starts to bloom or starts to bolt a little bit. Go ahead and snap it and go. Now, down here, and all our fruit trees, we pruned hard this year. We've been letting them go too long. We didn't get in here last winter. I am going to have to do some painting on the bottom of this. You can see I've got this damage, and I don't know what caused it, but I understand why a lot of people paint them now. Keep that from happening. We did add a new apple. This one here is an Anna, and we'll see how this does in here, but both of these trees have got pretty good amount of pruning to them, so hopefully they'll come out this year. I'm not looking for production, but I'm looking to get them shaped right. We got to come in here and fix up all our blueberries, get the pH adjusted. The soil's too alkaline, and that's why I'm not having the growth on them like I should. So we're going to deal with that. We'll get the beds ready. These beds are pretty clear in here because this is where our roselle was, and it pretty much kept all the light out, so it doesn't have the weed problem like the others. These are Jerusalem artichokes, or not Jerusalem, globe artichokes. And we put these in last year a little bit late when we got them planted. Grew these from seed. Uh, Hopefully, and I'm not sure, but I think these should come back from the root, and we'll see how that goes. But definitely they didn't like that cold weather. But we're not quite to where we're opening up the end of the uh, greenhouse yet, but we have had the sides rolled up. The temperatures at night, as long as they're in the 40s, it's a pretty good thing. But anyway, that's where we're at, and the reason I showed you over there where the one garden spot was and the chickens and geese, that's an excellent way to kind of make good use of your garden, prepare it before the season. You get the manure from the livestock that's in there, but you also get them to work the soil and get out a lot of those plants and seeds. But that's where we're sitting. We're going at it hot and heavy. It's taking a lot of work. We haven't got our other greenhouse started erecting it, but hopefully won't be too long. We'll get it done up. But I hope you enjoyed this update. I hope you're getting ready to grow in your garden, doing your preparation, and make sure you do your preparation, get your seeds. If you're going to plant potatoes, you need to get your seed potatoes now. For our area, it's the middle of February. Boy, that is a distraction. Got so much energy when it runs around, and then yeah, and of course she won't come in when we're not in here. So come on. Anyway, like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're getting your garden season ready. And if you want to see more videos like this, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all. Give it a big thumbs up and share this video. It really helps my channel. Enjoy that gardening experience.